Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for coming to a very special Soups On today. A lot of new faces. I don't know you, so you probably don't know me, so let me introduce myself. I'm Ronnie Hanneman, the Executive Director of the Carson City Chamber of Commerce. And this is certainly a very high-energy crowd. I guess we business people, when we have these kinds of events monthly, it's not quite as electric as it is today. So we are happy to be able to co-sponsor the first annual Mayor's Arts Award. And again, thank you for coming. Thanks to Duo. I also want to thank the great duo over here called Duo West, and also to caution you not to expect this every month for those of you who are regulars, because this is why not? Okay, well, we'll up the ticket prices and we will have this every month then. Okay, I'd like to acknowledge the attendance of the governor of the great state of Nevada, Steve Sisolak. And his very beautiful wife, Kathy. And this is their first chamber event in Carson City, so thank you for being here today for this very important event. We're very pleased to have you here, and also I mentioned to the governor how pleased I was to see that he, just like the rest of us, went through the soup line, so that's a great thing, so thank you.
And it's delicious too.
Oh, good. Well, I hope that the staff here heard that, so. Okay. You'll be hearing today from Mayor Bob Kroll, who is here with his wife, Susan. Mayor and Susan. I'd also like to acknowledge here today is Carson City Supervisors Lori Bagwell and John Barrett. And then we have City Manager Nancy Paulson. Nancy, would you stand up? And then we have our DA, which, we're happy he is here, but never want to be on your side of the fence. And that's Jason Woodbury. And then we also have WNC's president, Vincent Solis. Vince? And all the members of the Arts and Cultural Commission are present, as well as many of the nominees that will be introduced to you. As the Chamber, we feel art should be a part of any thriving community, and since Carson City continues to grow and thrive, it is appropriate that the arts be in the forefront by spotlighting all of these various artists that I got to meet today that make our community so great. Let me now turn this over to Carson City's Art and Cultural Coordinator, Mark Salinas. And Mark, here you go. The show is yours.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Ronnie. Thank you, Ronnie and Beverly and the Chamber and their board for introducing arts and culture into your luncheon programming. A sold-out event of 120 people. Yeah, give yourselves a round of applause for that. And 120 programs, all of which I stapled the other night. And so as I'm picking up these programs and bending them and folding them and inserting them and thinking about all of you, I let my mind drift a bit, as we do when we do repetitive tasks. And I remembered, I drifted off to a time when Marion Goodman once told me something in her office. And if you don't know Marion Goodman, back in the 70s, she was one of the first female gallerists in New York City. Forbes recently named her the 5th most powerful gallery owner in the US. Marion's about in her 90s right now, and she has a gallery both on 57th Street, where I worked, and one in Paris. Anyhow, so as her registrar, there were some sculptures coming back to us from Chicago. I think they were on the piers. They were outdoor for several months. In the loan agreement, I had written that they had to be professionally cleaned when they're returned to us, right? But the language wasn't strong enough, and they thought that meant a power washer. I meant a proper conservator. And so we were sort of at an impasse, and I had to turn to Marion for some help. So Marion's a very quiet woman when she speaks, and so I knocked on her door, and I walked in, and I sat down, and I gave her the issue at hand. Let me mimic what she did with her glasses. Mark, never handle the same piece of paper twice. I pretended like I knew what that meant, and I stood up and turned to walk out, and I said, so you're gonna call them, right? And she said, so 13 years later, like 2 nights ago, right? It finally hits me, folding all these pieces of paper and seeing everyone's photographs and their biography, it finally hits me what Marion meant. All this time I thought she was talking about efficiency. But what she was actually meaning was, Mark, do your best, put in all your tools, your talent, your resources to find the solution at the task at hand, and with that, rest assured that you did a good job. That's a job well done, right? So I want to float the concept that we have 18 nominees here today that, in Marion's words, haven't handled the same piece of paper twice, right? They've put their heart and soul into everything. They've utilized all their talent, all their resources, all their skills for the task at hand. What is that task at hand? Making Carson City a creative capital. And to them, I say, job well done. And I think Marion would say, job well done as well. Of course, today is a day to thank Mayor Kroll, who has allowed us to convene under the banner of the Mayor's Office to recognize and celebrate those neighbors of ours who contribute to the heart and soul of a city. Now, in December of 2018, and I know because I checked my email address, I emailed the mayor and I said, I got this crazy idea. And he has a couple of these emails, okay? I said, how about we do an annual event, Mayor's Arts Award? Now, I checked the time, Mayor, and in 3 minutes, you replied with 3 words, I like it, exclamation point. Now, I have found that this reply and this response is typical of his support of my work and the work that we're doing here together as a community. And so thank you, Mayor, for allowing this to be today. And with that, I'm going to allow the Mayor to say a few words. Thank you.
Well, afternoon and morning still. Good morning and good afternoon and good Carson City Day to all of us here in Carson City. Don't we live in a beautiful community? Yeah, we do. And I'll tell you what, arts and culture in Carson City are on the move. And you see it every day in our community. And it gives you a sense of pride, gives you a sense of being, it gives you a sense of community, a sense of place. That's what arts and culture have done throughout history. Throughout mankind's history, it's done that. And today we are opening up the first annual Mayor's Art Award, which I hope is going to be a continuing format for recognizing our artists and those who participate in the art community in Carson City, to say thank you, well done, keep it up. We are proud that you're here. Without you, we may not have the community, the great community I just mentioned when we shook our hand or clapped our hands. So, you know, we're also proud, terribly proud, to have with us today Governor Sisolak and his wife Kathy. Let me say, you know, not only are they my neighbors, you know, because I live up in that area, but, you know, one of the first things the governor did when he got elected was he came up and he said, you know, I want to go meet the neighbors. So we took a trip around. He handed out cookies to the neighbors at Christmas time, or, you know, and we went to as many houses as we could get in. Then I think I got too cold. But it was wonderful, wonderful, Governor and Kathy, for you to come do that for your neighbors, because I'll tell you what that says is that you're invested in our community. I know you got the whole state to worry about, and maybe Carson City is just one little small piece on the plate, but I know that you'll make sure that that small piece is always taken care of, and on a lot of different venues, particularly the arts and culture, and I know that because Kathy is going to be right on you. Yeah, she is, I know. So, I could say a whole lot of things, about the arts and culture and about the governor, but I thought, instead of doing that, I just read a proclamation that he just issued last month. And this is a proclamation by the governor, and I'm going to read it. Whereas the month of October, I know it's November, has been recognized as Arts and Humanities Month by thousands of arts and cultural organizations, communities, and states across the country. And whereas the arts and humanities embody much of the accumulated wisdom, intellect, and imagination of humankind. And whereas the arts and humanities enhance and enrich the lives of every citizen in the Silver State, and whereas the creative economy drives tourism and commerce, making up 4.3% of the annual gross domestic product, while also playing a unique role in the lives of families and communities across the United States. And whereas the arts and culture industry also strengthened our national economy by generating $163.3 billion with a B, and our total economic activity annually, $26 billion, again with a B, in government revenue, and supported by the equivalent of 5 million jobs. And whereas, over the past several years, during Arts and Humanities Month, cities and states, through their local and state arts agencies and representing thousands of cultural organizations, have celebrated the value and importance of culture in the lives of Americans, and we encourage Nevadans to do the same during October and throughout the year. Now therefore, I, Steve Sisolak, Governor of the State of Nevada, do hereby proclaim October 2019 as Arts and Culture Humanities Month, the Arts and Humanities Month in Carson City, the state of Nevada, and throughout the nation. So, I think that says it better when I say that arts and culture have been really the glue and the staple that holds mankind together throughout all different cultures, time warps and things of that nature. It's the glue that makes things happen in the community. It makes you feel good. When you see art, you may not understand it, but you appreciate it. And I certainly know that because I've got another neighbor here, Mr. Brenneman, who's sitting right there, and his wife Cindy, who she had, if you made it up to the governor's mansion at Halloween, you will have seen probably 2,000 or 3,000 kids going there and then wondering, boy, what has Cindy got on her lawn over there? Yeah. So, that's why it's important, because, when you go up to the governor's mansion, you want to see, not just the governor, but you want to see what's around it. You want to see what this state's all about. And boy, I'll tell you, you are tremendous neighbors and a tremendous part of Carson City. So thanks again. And with that, just let me say, do I have to say anything more?
You nailed it.
I nailed it? I could go on for a long time on this subject, folks. I know you should hear me, but I don't want to make you hear me. So, thank you very much. Carson City is a great place. All right. And before I leave, let me say thank you to the Chamber of Commerce. Thank you to the Arts and Cultural Commission. Thank you to Mark Salinas, who's our coordinator. And thank you to each and every one of you in the room, all of you artists, for what you've done for our community and what I know you'll continue to do. As I mentioned, it is a tremendously important part of what makes the community great. And so, with that, I hope that this being the first Mayor's Art Award, that it continues on to be the Mayor's second or whatever, but it's a continuing event to celebrate and showcase what the artists we have and what art means to a community. And I think you see that here right in this room. So again, on behalf of our community of Carson City, thank you, Governor, thank you, Kathy, and thanks to all of you who've helped put this first annual Mayor's Art Award Day together. Thank you.
Well, what an honor to have all of you here today. It is a very thankful, very happy day today. As chairperson of the Arts and Culture Commission, I'm Barbara DeNeo, and I want to especially thank Governor Sisolak and his wife Kathy for joining us on this very wonderful first occasion for the arts, and to welcome each and every one of you to this very special day. It's also an honor, and we all know Mayor Bob's, to have his support and recognition of the efforts of dedicated artists, art organizations, community advocates to increase the awareness and the growth of art and culture as part of the Carson City destination attractiveness. That's how we are focusing our efforts. The Carson City Cultural Commission Board is the advisory group to the Carson City Board of Supervisors. We have 7 elected board members representing an expanded age and gender diversity, artistic interests, and public member representation. So that's who we are, and we help Mark, who works with us, and the Board of Supervisors. We want to thank and recognize the efforts of the 18 individual nominees and applaud the 4 recipients of the first Mayor's Arts Award. We look forward to the beginning of a brighter future, bringing talent, beauty, joy, excitement, and visitors to Carson City and surrounding areas. The commissioners extend our thanks and gratitude to the Carson Tourist Authority, CTA, and all the members of the various hotel accommodation organizations, and all of you who support the arts through a portion of the hotel room tax. We appreciate and need the support to expand culture and the arts programs, thereby increasing tourism. We think it's beautiful buildings and historic, and it's the capital, but the arts are growing, and we want you all to be a part of it. We want to thank the Chamber, the Board of Supervisors, because you are there for us, and the staff of all these organizations, because without you, we certainly couldn't do what we do. Now, I think we're going to have a video, and enjoy.
The 2019 Mayor's Arts Awards is an inaugural event designed to further express Carson City's commitment to the arts by gathering citizens and artists and organizations and elected officials together in an end-of-year celebration. And with dependable guidance from a knowledgeable and diverse cultural commission, the Department of Arts and Culture has achieved creative connectivity to neighbors across the street, to our neighbors across the state. Now, while there has always been a spotlight on Carson City's arts and culture, we do see data that represents an intensifying brightness in recent years. So with educated ambition, our combined efforts have delivered Carson City's influence upon local and state entities, which include schools, libraries, businesses, airports, and destination marketing organizations. Our philosophical overview is that creation, education, and relation are 3 elemental components in building strong public arts programming. Now, these are, in fact, the same shared fundamental efforts in building a thriving community that people want to live in, or a community that people want to visit, and then share the gravity of that experience with their friends and family. Cultural Commissioner Chris Leva once said, "Experience is the definition of culture." And day to day, we're elevating that experience through building infrastructure, promoting assets, and activating the community. A cross-section of the community as gathered here today reflects self-awareness of our successes, and with it, the collective encouragement for continued growth. Today, we express our cultural identity as one arts community, proactively contributing to the quality of life here in Carson City and even beyond in some circumstances. So I want to personally credit and recognize and graciously thank the ongoing efforts of today's nominees in developing Carson City as a robust creative capital. And I often ruminate about Carson City's motto, proud of its past, confident of its future. And I believe the creativity and dedication of today's nominees, with the full and unwavering support of the community, as seen here today, that we have created what I like to call new tradition for Nevada. So thank you for joining us today, in writing that next chapter of Nevadan art history with us. You didn't know I could do that trick, right? With my mouth. I also was exhibiting a couple different hairstyles in this video, so you caught that. As you saw there, we're actively investing in the arts in Carson City to appeal to residents and to visitors, as well as expanding our footprint in Carson City and putting Carson City arts on the road, so to speak. From a Carson City group show at the Reno Tahoe Airport, which you saw there, to a current display at Tonopah's Convention Center of some Carson City artists. We believe that cultural osmosis is a healthy benefit for communities when that happens. Now, attached to your program here, the ones I stapled, right, is a promotional sticker that Carson City and the town of Tonopah created. It's a collaboration sponsored through the Nevada Arts Council, which is here with us today. A program called the Basin to Range Exchange, which pairs two communities in the state together to do a cultural swap, so to speak. So Carson City with Tonopah, we've been able to do a 10-month collaboration, swapping experiences with ghost walks, and we're partnering with breweries, and we're partnering with hotels, and we're partnering with each tourism bureau. In 2020, we will also show some Tonopah artists in City Hall, as well as some artists from Truckee. We have attendees today at today's event representing Washoe County, Lyon County, Douglas County, and a very special person representing Clark County with us today. I personally hold an unrestrained belief that when talent is applied to collaboration and communication, that it yields success in any industry, and arts is one of those industries. And it's my pleasure to introduce to you our keynote speaker, Heather Harmon, who I believe will lead new arts infrastructure throughout Nevada, and with it, the economic and cultural impact of tomorrow. Heather, would you please join us?
Hi, thank you so much for having me today. It's a real pleasure to be here. As a fourth-generation Nevadan, I had the wonderful experience of living in Carson City in the late 70s. And I want to talk to you a little bit today about my personal experience with art. And because I grew up in Las Vegas, and I didn't grow up in a city that had a fine art museum. So I didn't necessarily know that it was okay or acceptable to pursue a career in art. We didn't have art in our home. We didn't have the ability to always travel and go and see museums around the world, as I know it can be prohibitive for many. So my first experience with art took place at UNLV, where I graduated with my undergraduate. And as following in family footsteps, I studied to be a political science major. And it came time after 2 years of poli-sci to take an elective. So I'm looking through the courses, and a course pops up, Art Since 1945. I thought, wow, what in the world is Art Since 1945? Well, I learned. And I walked into the class my first day, and the professor put up 2 slides that I have emblazoned upon my memory and will never forget. And that professor was a great writer and thinker by the name of Dave Hickey. And he was really the first person to say, you can pursue art. You can have a career in art. You can like art. Not only can you like art, you can have a job doing it. And never before that had I ever dreamed it was possible. And he really gave me the necessary validation and the support system to pursue a career in art. So no one had really taken the major before, and they cobbled together an amazing curriculum which led to my accidental internship at the Bellagio Gallery of Fine Art when it was still under the direction of the Wynn family. And on my 3rd day of work, we got in this enormous crate, and there's staff rushing around, and everyone's rushing around, and they're opening the crate, and I'm supposed to take a condition report. So I'm shaking because I've never stood in front of a work of art before. I don't know, I did not understand at that point how that would physically impact me, how transformative that would be, how when they opened up that crate, I would see one of the scariest paintings I've ever seen. It was quite a gory scene. It was a Rubens painting of the Bible story of St. John the Baptist, which is fairly gory. And I stood there and I was terrified and my heart was beating and I was shaking, and I really had never felt like that before. I had never processed how transformative art can be in a life. And I can't stress that enough. There is no substitute in the world for physically experiencing a work of art. That experience belongs to you. And subsequently, that career took me around the globe. I majored in art history, got a master's in art theory, and traveled. I went to Vienna, I went to Ibiza, Spain, I went to New York, I went to Los Angeles. And originally, when I left home in the early 2000s, it was not because I wanted to leave home. My entire family is in Nevada. Who wants to leave Nevada? That's not a great decision for anyone. Yet, when I graduated, I had no possibility for a career in art. You know, art history, what are you going to do with that degree? If you're a visual artist, you do have choices. They may be not the choices that are close to your heart and that you want to pursue. Maybe it's design, maybe it's hotel interior, but art history, we're a community institution. We listen to our community, we measure their needs, we respond to them, and we take notes. And we want to make sure that the museums that we bring to the state and the programming that we do is your home. We want you to feel like you see our museums and you're reflected in that. They're a mirror of you, and that we've thought about you, that we've considered you, that we want you to see our exhibitions, that we want you to share arts and culture with us. So, because again, as the mayor said earlier, culture is for everyone, art is for everyone, and your experience of art belongs to you. It doesn't belong to anyone else. So it does not matter if you studied art history for 20 plus years, or if you're seeing a work of art for the first time, that experience is valuable and your experience is valuable. So I want to thank you all for being here, and thank you for supporting the arts in Nevada, and thank you for giving the power of transformation to your community. Thank you.
My goodness, thank you, Heather, so much for being with us today. I think right now we're going to bring up the cultural commissioners. So would the Carson City Cultural Commissioners please join me on stage? So on behalf of the Carson City Cultural Commission, we are so pleased and honored to have artist Melissa Malera-Moose. Melissa, are you in the crowd? I know you are. Stand up. As the 2019 awards artist who was commissioned to create these lovely and beautiful 5 works here on stage. Each thoughtfully constructed artwork is signed in an edition of 5. So why 5 if we have 4 award categories? Wonder. Because in creating the Mayor's Arts Award, we intend to commission a 5th piece every year to be inducted into the Carson City's permanent art collection. And we believe that we want to show the community that these awards that we're sharing in your celebration with those awards winners, and that and by receiving an award and being nominated, that you are part of Carson City's history, part of our art history here locally. I was just at the Lilly Museum last night where Melissa was doing a talk. She also has a piece at our State Museum down the street. It's a lovely piece on permanent view. And I know there's a friend of mine in the audience who just bought a piece of hers the other day. So Melissa's work is absolutely fantastic. And I'm going to allow the commissioners to read the nominees and read the winners. So I think first we'll have Milo and Lupe, please.
Hello, everybody. How we doing? All right. It's like the Grammys. Never hosted an award show before. It's exciting. All right. So we will be presenting the Arts Innovator Award, me and Lupe. The Arts Innovator Award honors an individual who is implementing new and innovative ideas into the arts and cultural sector that benefit the community.
Hello, everybody. Okay, I get to do the fun part. I get to do the names. So the nominees are Ananda Bennett-Weber, Cynthia Brenneman, Fred Holland, Deborah Lambin, and Mauricio Sandoval. And the winner is
And the winner is... It's very long. Cynthia Brenneman.
yeah. Yes, yes, just, yeah.
If anybody knows me, they know I really hate public speaking, but on this occasion, Governor and our First Lady and Mayor Bob and everybody else, thank you so much. And you really should be thanking probably the 100 artists that have participated in my projects, because you never know where they're going. The Parasol project ended up in a float for the Nevada Day. It ended up at the airport. I think it's in Tonopah. And who knew? Because I just like doing things with our artists in the community. And if anybody wants to join our next project that I'm just now currently working on and have no idea where it's going, just see me. I live in the Bliss Mansion with my husband, my long-suffering husband, and who was drug into all these projects. The Arts Coalition in Carson City has been a wonderful format for me personally, and also for all our wonderful artists here in Carson City. And I'm very thankful for them for giving me the opportunity to work with all of you. Thank you.
Why don't we get a group photo of us with Cindy and the piece, and the mayor can join us. Sure. John.
Are we going to drag the piece
Oh,
over here?
Yeah, everyone.
Yeah, let's all stand in front of the piece and have Milo and Lupe hand Cindy one of the awards. It's the first time we've done this, all right? Oh, no. Yeah. So let's gather around it.
Well, you too.
Yeah, it's all. It's all gather around.
I'll get it right, I'll get it right. Okay.
Our next pair of commissioners will be Barbara Danale and Eleanor Bugley, presenting the Service to the Arts Awards.
I start. So the Service to the Arts Award seeks to inspire a culture of giving by recognizing an outstanding individual who has graciously helped fund, support, or sustain arts and culture in the community. And the 5 nominees
Are Cynthia Brenneman, Quest Lakes, Jeffrey Pace, Molly Walt, and Michael Wiesnick.
Wincheck.
And the winner is
Okay, this is a person who doesn't do his service for notoriety or acknowledgement because he believes in the mission, knowing he can truly help make Carson City a better place. And the award is being given to a volunteer who, during the summer, puts in more than 12 hours a day. He also works with Wired Wednesdays, Ghost Walk, Proscenium Players, and other organizations to make Carson City the best it can be. And he has housed artists, cooked for them, and helped make Carson City look good for all the rest of us. He has said, this is from his nomination, I'm quoting, "He is the kindest, most thoughtful, and dedicated human I have ever been lucky enough to meet. He is not only a friend and advocate for the arts community, but an ambassador for Carson City." The winner is Michael Winchek. He is known as Mikey, and if you've attended any of the Levitt concerts, you've heard him be an announcer, organize the volunteers who collect donations, set up chairs, set up the stage, greet the performers, and what else? I know I missed a bunch of things.
There's a lot. Oh, wow. Ellie and everyone, thank you. It's an honor to be amongst this many creative, dedicated, awesome people. Governor, it's great to have you here. Mayor Bob, everyone. Yeah, I've been working with the Brewery Arts Center and a bunch of different groups for a long time, and it's my love, it's my passion. Carson City is my home. Been here for 15 years, and I'm never leaving. Good. And thank you. And anything I can do to give back to my community and to help sustain the arts and what's going on and inspire future generations to give as much as they can. Time, treasure, talent. I don't have a lot of treasure to give, but I've got a lot of time and a lot of talent, and I'm happy to give it. So thank you. Thank you very much. I wondered who had nominated me, and after reading what she said, I know that it was Gina Hill, the executive director of the Brewery Arts Center, who is my inspiration. I could not do and would not be as motivated to do what I do if it wasn't for Gina Hill at the Brewery Arts Center, the way she inspires everyone to be better than they are and want to do more for their community. So I accept this with her in my mind as well. So thank you.
All right, what do we do?
Okay, these nominees are for the Community Impact Award. The Community Impact Award honors an organization that has a tangible, measurable effect on the community, exemplifying the impact and vitality of Carson City's creative economy. Organizations may be profit or nonprofit.
And the nominees are the Brewery Arts Center, Nevada Artists Association, the Nevada Gourd Society, Sierra Nevada Ballet, and Wild Horse Children's Theater. And the winner is... And the winner of the Community Impact Award is Wild Horse Children's Theater. And while Carol is coming up to receive this, we'd like to share some quotes from the letter of nomination. Since 2007, Wild Horse Children's Theater has produced more than 40 productions at the Brewery Arts Center and the Bob Boldrick Theater and the Carson City Community Center.
Their June 2019 production of Disney's Newsies was supported by grants from the Nevada Arts Council and a Carson City Redevelopment Special Event Grant. This musical brought over 3,500 audience members into the community.
Wild Horse Children's Theater is guided by four key principles: casting all who audition, setting and achieving the highest artistic standards, embracing diversity, providing a positive, family-friendly, nurturing community. And just speaking for myself, I'm witnessing what she does. I don't know how she does it.
Their No Child Turned Away policy sometimes brings over 100 young people auditioning for one show. To accommodate these children, Wild Horse Community Theater often will double and even triple cast the shows. They have also had many cast members with learning and physical disabilities, including Asperger's, ADHD, ADD, and MS, and make full accommodations, never turning anyone away who wants to learn and participate in their programs.
Wild Horse Children's Theater's school outreach program, Let Our Stages Be Your Classroom, brings over 1,000 elementary school students, teachers, and chaperones to the Brewery Arts Center to attend a special performance of their current production. So congratulations to Wild Horse Children's Theater.
Yay.
First of all, this is totally crazy because we are involved with almost every organization that's in this category. And I, again, shout out to the Brewery Arts Center because they are our home. We are the resident theater company at the Brewery Arts Center, and we couldn't do what we do without them. Also, we are a family and a team at Wild Horse. It takes a village. And when we said we had over 100 kids for Frozen, which is our next show that opens in December, we have had 168 young people audition, and we took every one of them. So we were trying to figure out how to get 168 young people backstage in the green room, and the church has opened up the bottom portion for us to house half of those kids, so they're not on stage and they're not in this tiny little green room in the back. So the community just unfolds itself for us all the time. Our kids go on to do such amazing things. They are in New York, they're in LA, they're in Chicago, they are on Broadway and national tours, cruise ships, and some of them have amazing jobs that they just learned to have self-esteem and self-respect. We have a new program. We talked about the kids that we have on stage that have disabilities. We have a young boy on stage now in a wheelchair that he was a bee with a beekeeper in our last show, and she just wheeled him around the stage. And we have a new sensory program, a show that we're doing for the first time that is just for kids and families who can enjoy theater, open the doors for them. They may talk during the show. They may not want lights or flashing sounds or they have hearing disabilities. And we have a special show for them that we're doing in the morning of December 14th, just for them. And we have all kinds of organizations coming to support them and support Wild Horse. So I'm just amazed, and thank you all for this honor.
Okay, here I am with Barb Dineo, our chair of the Cultural Commission. Carol, congratulations. If you're going to bring those 160 kids to our next event, call me in advance.
Shall I do this?
Yeah.
Okay. This is the Art of Giving Award. It seeks to inspire a culture of giving by recognizing an outstanding organization that has graciously helped fund, support, or sustain arts and culture programs and organizations in our community. Organizations may be profit or nonprofit.
And the nominees are Artsy Fartsy Art Gallery. Yeah, give everyone a round of applause, of course. The Carson City Classic Cinema Club
Yay!
and Southwest Gas Corporation.
Okay, so we're opening this.
All you.
All me? Oh, okay, all right. And the winner of the Art of Giving Award is Southwest Gas Foundation. Who is here from Southwest Gas Corporation? Yay! Now, we'd like to share some quotes from their letter of nomination. Come on over here, sweetie. I don't know where we should go. The Southwest Gas Foundation invests in the communities they serve in 4 general areas. 1, civic and community betterment. 2, arts and culture. 3, education. And 4, health, welfare, social services. A couple of years ago, the company was evaluating the foundation's impact in the nonprofit community and realized that the contribution to culture and the arts was in the single-digit percentage category compared to the other 3 focus areas. Knowing the important role the arts plays in stimulating creativity in our children and enriching our community, the foundation leadership made a concerted effort to boost their investment in the arts. In 2019, the SWG Foundation has contributed more than $25,000, yay, in support of Carson City local culture and arts nonprofits, including Arts for Children of Nevada, Brewery Arts Center, Capital Arts Initiative, Children's Museum of Northern Nevada, Western Nevada Musical Theater Company, Western Nevada Performing Arts, and the Friends of the Carson City Library.
At the B Hotel.
That's,
And the Bee Hotel.
and, okay, that wasn't on here, but that's good. Southwest sponsored the Carson City Community Center Bob Boldrick Theater Lobby Refresh Project, the Levitt Amp Concert Series, and the Greenhouse Project Concert Under the Stars, and invested in 2 art mural projects at the Boys and Girls Clubs of Western Nevada. Congratulations and thank you so much. Mark should be here.
She's my neighbor. She lives
Yeah.
a couple houses down the street from me. It's a pleasure to be here today representing Southwest Gas. It's been my joy to be able to go out into the community and find arts organizations to partner with. If you haven't seen the 2 beautiful murals we help sponsor at the Boys and Girls Club, that we're taking a shot at, they're absolutely gorgeous. And we continue to look for new partners and new ways to help make Carson City a more vibrant community. Thank you.
This is the important part, man. If you have trouble, I'll get in there.
I think so.
Oh, they grabbed it.
Community impact, we were done. Okay.
So, awardees, you can pick up your artwork after the event. We're wrapping it up soon. Hang these pieces of artwork in your office, at your home with pride. They are really symbols of everyone's attendance here today. We have a very special announcement today, so Mayor, if you want to come up and introduce First Lady Kathy Sisolak, we have a very special announcement about a project that we're going to reveal today.
Oh, boy. Wow. Well, I don't know what this, I've asked what the special thing is. And nobody's gonna tell me. I mean, you know.
We didn't have an envelope for it.
Didn't
so
have an
it was-
envelope.
It was quiet.
But, you know, we'd like to bring Kathy Sisolak up. She has a special announcement to make, and I do know a little bit about it. But I'm sure, you know, it's tremendous. Kathy, come on up.
Thank you. Hello, everyone, and thank you for inviting me to the Mayor's Arts Awards Luncheon. It's such a pleasure to be here, and I didn't know I would be matching the awards. That wasn't planned. But I love the color. I want to personally acknowledge Mayor Bob Kroll and the Carson City Chamber of Commerce for hosting this event. And I want to thank Mark Salinas, Director of the Carson City Department of Arts and Culture, for working with me, and of course our Executive Coordinator, Kristen Dillard, at the Mansion. She is amazing, to help create what we believe to be a very exciting initiative. But before we get to our exciting announcement, I wanted to tell you why I'm passionate about the arts. I believe the arts are central to who we are as a people. The arts are reflective of our soul. They can motivate us into action or soothe our restless thoughts. They can speak to a single child's creativity or inspire an entire community. The arts nurture our imaginations and encourage us both individually and collectively to reach beyond the status quo. These aren't just my lofty ideals. Public opinion shows overwhelmingly support for the arts. In fact, 75% of Nevadans believe the arts help students perform better academically. 70% of Nevadans believe that creativity enhances success in the workplace, and 62% of Nevadans believe that the arts improve healing and healthcare experience. And the arts are good for business. Right here in Carson City, we have 114 arts-related businesses that employ 350 people, including art schools, design and publishing, film and radio and visual arts. And I would be remiss as First Lady if I didn't mention that the arts are also bipartisan. That's why I'm thrilled to help kick off an exciting new collaboration between the Carson City Department of Arts and Culture and the Governor's Mansion. The initiative will be called The First Lady Presents. The idea is to promote artistic expression in Carson City and our great state of Nevada. Beginning in January 2020, the Governor's Mansion will host contemporary artists from Nevada and display their artworks in the Governor's Mansion for a period of 6 months at a time. The selection committee, comprised of 3 art professionals from around the state, will meet twice a year to select the artist. Each artist will be afforded the opportunity to hold an artist reception and/or artist talk at the Governor's Mansion. For our inaugural exhibition beginning in January, we will honor an artist who lives, works, or demonstrates his or her arts in Carson City. The initiative will utilize the Carson City Department of Arts and Culture to build statewide communication and collaboration among artists, helping reinforce the importance of art for Carson City and all Nevadans. These pieces of art will be prominently displayed in the mansion so that all visitors, from local school children to tourists to honored guests and dignitaries, can have an opportunity to take in a small piece of Nevada's creativity and culture. I am so pleased to be working with Director Salinas and the Cultural Commission to get this project off the ground. Last year, Director Salinas partnered with 55 businesses and organizations in creating public arts programming and installed 270 individual artworks throughout the region representing Carson City. The Cultural Commission, The Cultural Commission is made up of some amazing and diverse volunteer commissioners, including the first Native American to ever serve on the commission, and at just 19 years old, the youngest cultural commissioner in the state of Nevada. I am a passionate supporter of the arts, and I am thrilled to be part of this initiative and to start showcasing artists and creators from all over Nevada. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Well, I'm very excited for this opportunity, and I think any contemporary artist in Nevada, I think my phone's going to blow up any minute now. Ronnie, it says closing remarks. Where are you? Taking pictures?
Never far.
Well, again, thank you guys for coming. It's been a very exciting afternoon. The first ever, and hopefully, Bob, this is your first and your last.
Well, I might get one more next year.
Maybe. That's right, if we have it in November next year, you'll have a second. And then we certainly, Mark and I will make sure that whoever the next mayor will be will also continue this. It's exciting to have you all here, and thank you so much for coming. We really appreciate it. Mark?
Once again, thank you everyone for being here. Nominees and awardees, we're going to do a very fun group picture together with the First Lady and the Governor and the Mayor. I believe the photographer said, where's the photographer? There she is. So please don't take our art and run away. Stick around and we'll have some fun, fancy shots together. Thank you everyone so much for coming. Thank you, Ronnie.
Thank you. All worked out very well.
And don't forget, put these stickers on your helmets, on your skis, on your car, on your laptop, on your water bottle.